VS ice it out.
We are live.
What's going on, Bama Nation? It's your boy, Coach Smook, your favorite YouTube and real life coach. Don't play with my name. And my boy, Jackson Johnson here at the Alabama Voice of College Football with your 28th. What we at, the 28th episode of Alabama Primetime Live?
Yep, Alabama
Yeah,
Primetime.
come on, y'all. Bring it in. Give your thought. Give your hands up. Come on, y'all. Give yourself some love as we show y'all some love. Welcome in. We're on multiple platforms right now. We're sitting on YouTube at Alabama at the Voice of College Football. We're on the Coach Smook Network page on YouTube. We're also live on Twitter on Coach Smook. And also, where else we at? We at Jackson's Voice of College Football page. So make sure y'all tapping in. Make sure y'all showing some love. What's up, Jason Jackson? Good to see you tapping in on the AAA side of things. Drop that like, man. Share it up. Let everybody know to pull up. Alabama Voice of College Football is live tonight. And tonight, we got a special guest for y'all tapping in. And some more love showing from the Wisconsin Badgers headquarters, coming in, sharing their thoughts, sharing the space with us, allowing us to, and gracing us with his presence, man. We got a guy that's going to be representing Rajiv over at what was the name of the show again, Jackson?
He's from the Bucky Report, and he's a contributor to Locked On Badgers.
Yes, sir. So y'all, we got some official Wisconsin beat writers and coverage analysts, people who follow the program on a different level, coming in and sharing their thoughts with us about this upcoming matchup this weekend. So before we even jump into that conversation, make sure you come in, you hit the like button, make sure you share the stream, and make sure that you're subscribed with all of your notifications on for the Alabama at the Voice of College Football with myself, Jackson Johnson, and Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. We provide your weekly Bama coverage, Alabama football coverage. And as long as you continue to support, that helps us grow and continue to expand our coverage for all of your Alabama athletics that you love to see. But as we get into the show tonight, before we get into it, we want to just acknowledge a few things, man. Definitely want you all to take advantage of our merch here at Alabama at the Voice of College Football. We got the it's some fire, man. I got a cap on the way. I told you, Jackson, I love my caps, man, and I got hair. So now my cap usage is a little different. You know, when I can't get the hair done, I need a good cap, and these Voice of College Football caps is something that I'm definitely excited to be able to rock, not only just to represent the brand, but there's some stylish stuff. You got the camo material, you got the black on red and white. You know, that's Coach Smook Network brand colors anyway. So I'm rocking with it. You got the tan, all of the different color shirts, tumblers, you got coffee mugs, all of that good stuff available for you on our merch website. And if you really want to support on another level outside of just being here, hitting the like and hitting the share, this is a great way, because every time you make a purchase through this, it's contributing to the growth of this network. Jackson, you already know, man. Yesterday you said you were on the mugs. Your choice changed. What's your preference going for now? Your first order?
Oh, I think I'm gonna get the game day mug, because that's the plan I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get that game day mug, or I'm leaning towards that can cooler. But one way or another, I'm gonna get a little something nice for my birthday. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hey, side note, man, I know this ain't part of the primary reason why we come to the show, but our community and the viewers that show up and support us every week, the fact that they love to share, you know, we have that personal connection with our community as it continues to grow. We want to maintain that. And shout out to my guy, Novesh Speed, man. We've been putting your family up in prayers, man. It's happening. He's been supporting both at Alabama at the Voice of College Football and the Coach Smook Network. Family member was dealing with a serious illness, and come to find out, man, the scan came through, and now no disease found. So we definitely want to celebrate that. Take a moment. We appreciate everything, even if it's not football, man. We got people that take time out their day to support us, man. So Vez, that's great news. Glad to see your name in the chat again, man. And again, continue to run the likes up and continue to share. But more than that, man, continue to share people about the good news with this community that you've joined, man. AAA family, Alabama at the Voice of College Football family, showing that love and support for our community members and supporting us even in things not concerning college football. And final thing before we get into it, Jackson, we got a little promo for the people, man. We got some hookups and things. We got a lot of holidays coming up, and virtually I be spending a lot of money. I got my 6 kids. I don't know what type of gifts you got to buy. I got my 6 kids. I got my old lady that I got to buy a gift for. I got a new puppy. He's big. I know he's spoiled. He gonna want something. And I'm an Amazon guy. What about you, Jackson? What you got coming up? You need to utilize some discounts or something. What you got, man?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, it's just like rolling all over. It's just like we've got I don't see that video anywhere, but it's like I guess the doppelganger got tired of messing around. But I will say, shop on Amazon using the link to support the Voice of College Football. You don't have to deal with costing yourself a penny. You get that same shopping experience, especially when Cyber Monday is coming rolling around. And
Facts.
Oh yeah. So here
Facts,
we go,
man. Y'all better utilize them coupons. We're gonna get that Amazon code right there in the chat for y'all. If you can't see it on the screen, it's right there in the chat. Click that link, and using that link, it'll help you get a discount on all your Amazon orders, and it also helps support Alabama at the Voice of College Football, but not just Alabama at the Voice of College Football. The whole Voice of College Football network is being supported when you utilize that Amazon code. So definitely take advantage of that. And then last but not least, man, final thoughts, man. All you guys that guys and gals, I gotta stop saying just guys, but guys and gals that like to get your money out there and play with your money a little bit and get on these bets for this, not just college football, but any other bets, NFL, NBA, things of that nature. We got you for your college football bets and your betting games. And if you want to bet responsibly and bet safe, we got something for you. Check this out.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Yes, sir. Hey, shout out to our guy Mark Rogers, man. His little doppelganger, little promos and stuff be on some stuff, boy. He started to get a little niche for it, man.
Oh, there we go, man. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the co-host of the Bucky Report, and he is a regular contributor of Locked On Badgers. We have Rajiv Chabra.
Yes, sir. My guy Rajiv. Welcome in. Y'all give it up for our guy Rajiv representing the Wisconsin Badgers Nation tonight, coming over here and sharing some love and showing some love with Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Rajiv, welcome on, man. Introduce yourself to the family and kind of tell them what you're about. And we're glad to have you once again, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. My name is Rajiv. I've hosted the Bucky Report, regular contributor, Locked On Badgers. Been doing this for a few years now. Graduate from the University of Wisconsin, 25-year fan, and I love my program and hoping for something special this weekend, although it's not really likely.
Hey, don't do that, because last time we had an opponent representative on this panel, they talked about how much Bama would come in and they didn't have a chance. And then all of a sudden we show up week one and you see what happened. You saw it. I know you watched it just like the rest of the nation when Alabama suffers a loss or has a tough game. But we're not here to talk about week one. We're here to talk about week three. This matchup, I truly believe, is going to surprise a lot of fans on both sides of the spectrum. One with kind of an optimistic expectation coming in on the road. That's the Wisconsin Badgers. I guess you can get a consensus of the fan base, right? And you kind of get a feel of how this game is feeling for everybody amongst the two fan bases. And I think there's a mutual feeling amongst the two fan bases, and there's one that's expecting an improvement from their last showing, and that's Alabama, who's expecting to continue to improve and showcase their dominance against a team on paper that seems to be a little bit undermatched, but still a prestigious program that should be respected and is going to play physical and cause us to test another level of what our team is consisted of. So as we get into that conversation tonight, man, I'm glad that you're here to speak on behalf of the Badgers, but we're going to cross-reference this thing a little bit. So I know we don't have a lot of time with you. Just overall, Raj, if you don't mind if I call you Raj, your name puts me in the mind of my brother, man. We served together. And I think it was Rajekeiv or something like that was his real name. And we just called him Raj, and the first part of your name just reminds me of that. So if you don't mind, my brother Raj is representing. Give me your thoughts, man, on what this brings, this kind of game, what type of attention it brings to your program from the outside looking in, and as someone that covers the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, it's obviously good to always have these preseason matchups. I think too many teams nowadays are trying to get rid of Power 4 opponents, and I, for one, don't like that. I think obviously having Bama on our schedule is tough considering the Big Ten schedule that we have ahead of us, which is we're the toughest schedule in the country, which is absolutely nuts. But having Alabama come to our place last year was cool. It was great. Sadly, we lost our quarterback in the first quarter to a torn ACL, and we'll have to see what this week brings. But I was actually hoping to get down to Tuscaloosa. I've never been down there. Would love to see it, but it's not going to work. But yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of expectations, but given the opponent and everything. But after week one, honestly, there's certainly some more confidence that can come from that, given that you all didn't play your best game, and obviously things got a little better in your second week, but against a weaker opponent. But yeah, it's exciting. It's really kind of one of these things where it's not really a win-win situation for us, obviously, but we don't have a lot to lose. We're not expected to win. Anything we do down there hopefully pushes the program a little bit forward and gives us a good launching point into the Big Ten slate.
100%. Jackson, we talked about this yesterday with Ryan, man, and I think people they didn't hear us. I would like to kind of reiterate. What does this mean for, in your eyes, Jackson, a program like Alabama inviting a team like Wisconsin's in? A team that doesn't necessarily dominate their conference, but they always find themselves in the middle of games. Like at the end of games, you see Wisconsin over the years. I mean, the past 5 or 6 years, where they're in the third quarter, they're in games they're not supposed to be in. And this is a team that sticks to kind of like their identity, that traditionally what their makeup is, and that's physicality in the trenches. You got sound defensive play by this Wisconsin team year in and year out. And then offensively, it's kind of like they kind of find an identity, week 5 and week 6. What's your take on what this game means for this Alabama team, not traditionally a historical Alabama team, but the 2025 Alabama team going up against this Wisconsin Badgers roster?
Well, honestly, I think that 2025 for Alabama, like we had a horrible week in week 1, of course, but then we rebounded nicely in week 2. But we're looking to rebound nicely in week 3 again against Wisconsin. And if you put enough pressure on Danny O'Neal, you'll be good to go. If the rushing game on offense can just demolish that Wisconsin defense, you're going to be more than good to go. That's going to be a key matchup. Like the Wisconsin defense against the Alabama running game, that is going to be a key matchup. If you stifle the running game, which is what Florida State was doing in week 1, then Wisconsin's good to go.
Yeah.
If Alabama can make sure that their running backs are rocking and rolling and making sure that Richard Young is getting rolling and Dre Washington and Ackland Deer is getting all those carries and they're getting all those yards, they'll be ready to go for a victory in Tuscaloosa.
100%. I'm right there with you. And I look at the comments as they come in now. Hey, I think we are not far removed from trolling other teams that coming in or showing up and giving us a matchup unexpectedly. This is a different era of college football. And I said that going into the Florida State matchup, and I'm going to say that going into this matchup because, one, a spot where we have struggled, and this is a key matchup, and I'm going to pass it to you next, Raj, to get your thoughts on this key matchup. A spot where Alabama has struggled the past 4 years, not even just last year under Kalen DeBoer, but the last 2 years under Coach Saban. We saw our struggles on the offensive line. We saw our struggle on the defensive front and getting pressure with our defense, our 4 down linemen or our defensive front. one thing that Wisconsin has been consistent on throughout their history under Luke Fickell, under their most recent history under Luke, is the fact that you have one thing is consistent. The O-line is going to have some continuity. They're going to be what they are, and they're going to produce in what they do. That's the run game, physical run game. With this offense trying to expand a little more, become a little bit more balanced, you see the pass game starting to evolve with a set of quarterbacks that's a little bit more athletic than what you're used to. We saw that transition begin to happen last year before Tyler got hurt. And I think even if he doesn't get hurt last game, Alabama wins, but not the same way. Not in the same fashion, not in the fashion where it looks like the Wisconsin offense just doesn't look like it has an identity. This year, I think you're a little bit more prepared. And in those type of games, the trenches matter. And if I had to go in and bet my money right now, I would not be 100% comfortable betting all of my earnings on Alabama's first five on the offensive line or Alabama's first front. 1 week of dominance does not change my thoughts on where we need our development. So I think one of the key matchups that we're going to have to see, and that's going to help this game play out, and either whoever can start getting the wins early in the trenches, that's with the O-line and the defense and the defense line, and in particular, the Alabama offensive line versus the Wisconsin defensive front, which is where I think their strength is. What do you think the key matchup is in this Saturday's matchup for Wisconsin to be favored in order to have a chance to win this game?
Yeah, you say it right, man. It's the trenches is everything. And typically, a Wisconsin program is dominant at the offensive line. Typically. That is without question the weakest point of our team this year, mainly because we've had a couple injuries. We lost our starting left tackle in spring. We brought in someone in the transfer portal, Davis Heinzen. It did not really work out that well in week one. So in week two, we've shuffled our entire offensive line. Week two brought four linemen starting in different positions than they did in week one. Only our left guard, Joe Brunner, was in the same spot. Our starting right tackle, Riley Mallman, moved over to the left. Our starting right guard moved out to right tackle. And we've got two other guys, inexperienced guys, playing center and right guard. There's a possibility that our starting center, Jake Renfro, returns this week. We need that. That would be a huge lift for the offensive line. It's really, honestly, man, it's the only unit on the team right now that's not played well through 2 weeks. I mean, the defense has played far better. So the biggest question for us is, can our O-line hold up? Now, we know the kind of talent that Alabama has on their defensive line. Everybody knows that, and that's going to be difficult. Can we run the ball? I would tell you right now, Badger fans are not very confident in our ability to run the ball. Typically what we do well, but because our line is so injured and kind of broken right now, that's going to be an issue. The other side, though, our defensive line got far better in the offseason through the transfer portal and bringing up some guys from young guys up through recruiting. We got a lot bigger. We had only one defensive tackle over 300 pounds last year. Now we have 10 on the roster. So we're playing 5 or 6 defensive tackles just in those interior spots. We got a defensive end, Mason Reiger, out of Louisville, who's had done really, really well so far. All of a sudden, our defensive line is playing well, and our entire defensive unit's playing well. We've allowed 10 points in 2 games. I know it's against lesser opponents, but we allowed Miami 117 yards and no points the first week. So that's definitely a plus. Can we affect Alabama's offensive line? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a little tougher to run on us than maybe Alabama fans think it will be. Yeah. So I think hopefully a little bit more like the Florida State game in that regard. But contrarily, can we run on you? That's going to be the real issue, because our offensive line is definitely a problem right now.
100%. And I'm looking at the chat. Everybody's so confident about their scouting reports when it comes to guys missing out. But this is a team that saw a lot of movement in the offseason as far as personnel. You saw a lot of changes on both sides. So when you don't have as much production, quote unquote, returning, and last year, let's be honest, I believe Wisconsin fans would say that last year was an inconsistent season offensively. I truly believe you all would say that, and not in a sense of you couldn't do anything, but when you found like you felt something or felt like you found something, injury happened, or a major injury happened, to where you moving the offensive lineman somewhere he's not used to playing, or a tight end's getting asked to be in passing situations that he's not used to being in. So I think this year, because of the lack of continuity, that's what has caught in Alabama off guard. Not being prepared and of course effort. But you said something about your offensive run game. If somehow, because of how things have been put together through your injuries and things, if you all found a spark and something that you could work with, I think that presents a problem for my defense, who's just now coming into a phase of flying around against ULM. Seeing hesitancy week one, then seeing a complete 180. We have yet to see the median of what type of performance we can get. So if Wisconsin comes in and punches us in the mouth early, doing something offensively that we weren't quote unquote prepared for, and our effort isn't there, we can see a similar flow like we did against Florida State. But if I had to go with my best bet, if the best products show up, I think just like you said, because of all the switches on the offensive line for Wisconsin, the way this defensive line was getting pressure, and I mean, 7 total pressures on the quarterback last game with 0 sacks. You still was able to force 2 turnovers in the game. You had 12 tackles for losses by this defense. 9 of those tackles were made by guys in the front 7. So you got to be kind of confident that this defense is picking it up as far as where they need to be, how they need to be, and securing tackles with a little bit of effort. So for that reason, and like I said before we came in, I just told him, I said, if we hadn't lost week 1 to Florida State, I could see this being one of those games where it could be in question. It could be in question, but with this defense and how hungry they are, and the amount of questions going into week 3 for Wisconsin's offense, I think your front will suffer this weekend. Not in a major way to the point where it's like Wisconsin shouldn't have showed up, but you'll see the attrition start to show up late in the second quarter, early in the third quarter to create that big 8, that mid 8 minute spread, the last 4 minutes and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter, where you're trying to gain that extra possession or gain that ground, gain that momentum. And I think that's where you see the separation at. So that's the main key. Jackson, if you had to pick a position to watch out for when it came to the Alabama-Wisconsin matchup this week, what's one that you want the fan bases to be excited about or to be looking at?
I want everybody to be looking out for the running backs. That's what I want everybody to look out for.
You was on wide receivers last week. Now you want the running backs. If I had to guess, Jackson,
Alabama, Wisconsin, we think about running
physicality.
Back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's right there with you. So when I look at it, I'm more interested in those trenches though. That's where I think the run game it either starts or it can't get started because of how effective your trenches are. Raj, and I think we kind of have a good idea of where your heart is with this game. Overall, give me a rundown defensively what you can see Wisconsin doing. And this is the part of the game where I think Wisconsin can even the game out, for an extended amount of time, to give the offense time to figure some things out. If you all can find a way to limit Alabama's offense to be in one phase with still finding some identity on our offensive side, where would the effectiveness be, and how do you see this defense measuring up against this Alabama offense?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, first of all, is Ryan Williams definitely out this week? Is he playing or?
My prayer is that he is. I like the development that I've seen behind him with all the other receivers. Even in the past game, it seemed to flow a lot better, even though it was ULM. But apparently he's still day-to-day. There is no definitive answer of his availability for this Saturday. I'm hoping as a coach, I'm hoping he takes this extra week to, get himself together and make sure that the concussion and everything is out the way. Give yourself time to condition your body and everything to get back into game shape. But he's been very light with duty in practice, so it's doubtful at this point.
And that obviously is certainly a slight benefit to us. You're talking about one of the best wide receivers in the country. There's no doubt about that. We don't have the ability to cover Ryan Williams, as very few teams in the country can. Really, no one can. Maybe Ohio State. But so, I mean, really from a defensive standpoint, we're pretty experienced all across the board. We've got a really good cornerback in Rico Hallman, someone that Alabama was trying to poach in the offseason a bit. We've got experienced safeties as well. The strength of our defense right now is our inside linebackers. Christian Allegro's had a great start to the season. 3 tackles for loss, 11 total tackles. We've got, and as I mentioned earlier, our pass rush, which really wasn't there before, is there now. We brought in Mason Riger. Our defensive tackles are playing better. So I'm very much hoping that I think Alabama expects to be able to run the ball on us like they did last year. I don't think that we are a much different defense than we were last year. That is very clear. We're much closer to a typical Wisconsin defense now than we were in the last couple of years. So hopefully we can we can, create some pressure on Ty Simpson. And he didn't look obviously that great against Florida State. And if we can get him off the spot and maybe force him into a couple turnovers, I think we can keep the game a little closer, as you said, to give our offense some time to hopefully move the ball on them. But we have an experienced secondary enough, at least on one side. The other side is a young guy redshirt freshman Emilio Agard. But we've got a lot of depth there as well. So hopefully we can stop the run, force you to put Ty Simpson in tough situations, get him off the spot. If our pass rush is effective, and if we can get by Alabama's offensive line, I think we have a chance at limiting some of the big plays that Alabama can have. And of course, without Ryan Williams, that helps us. That allows us to go one step down on our best corner can go to your number 2 now. And then that hopefully helps us out a little bit on the board. But I think our defense is going to surprise Alabama fans. That's definitely something that's been. Now, listen, maybe Alabama scores 50 and I'm just, full of crap. Who knows, right? But we expect to see a solid performance on that side of the ball. And then hopefully we can make some moves offensively.
100%, man. And I agree with you with your defense. I think your strengths are right there at the inside linebacker position and your secondary when it comes to the matchups against Alabama. I just think right now up front, you don't have that deep rotation that you would want with a team that doesn't. And I truly believe in order for Alabama to truly have success, like consistent success in this game, you have to have an effective run game. In this matchup, personally, because I look at Ricardo Harmon, I look at Austin Brown, those guys on the back end. Your other corner, I think it was you said Agard, the red shirt freshman. His growth from last year to this year, you can tell that it's there. Mm-hmm. What it looks like against Alabama, maybe it doesn't look as fluid, but I don't want to chance that early in the game. I would rather force those guys to come inside the box, supporting some run support, make sure that force them to fill their run gaps, their run fits correctly coming down from the second level or containing on the edge from their corner positions, and then start to test them in the pass game, because I think Ricardo Harmon is, top 5 cornerbacks that's eligible for the draft this year. He was a guy that was eligible last year. Could have went early second round, late first round, last season. Same thing. We got a similar guy like that in Cam Calhoun out the portal. I don't even think Bama fans remember when Ricardo Harmon was rumored to be entering the portal, or one of the guys that was going to be a top target in the portal. It was Ricardo Harmon, Cam Calhoun, and then the young man from Texas that Alabama was truly targeting to get out of the portal. Ricardo Harmon is a guy that if push come to shove, if Ryan Williams is in his game, I think he's the guy that gets the float and mirror Ryan Williams, because you have some skilled younger guys that you can kind of put into specific assignments. So I don't look past Wisconsin's defense as a whole, just because of their discipline traditionally and what they do. They stay home. They're 4-2-5, they call it a 2-4-5, but they still have a 4-man front. With they just designed it differently with 4 linebackers on the field. Instead of having another defensive lineman, they bring a 4th linebacker on the field to act as one of their edge guys. And when you have that type of system, you expect to be able to run, but you have some solid tackling coming from the second level, from the interior guys that can cover ground laterally. How often can Alabama push that and push the envelope with those 2 areas on the field? I love the matchups, and like I said, as an unbiased take here, I just think right now Alabama has the numbers to give Ricardo Harmon, Austin Brown, and your free safety very aggressive in field and run fits. Play action is going to kill that gentleman. I guarantee you, Ryan Grubb is ready to send the interior run game at him, because he's a solid run fit safety. But in those play action situations where guys can really hold you up for that extra split second that you need to plant your feet and get that ball downfield, get that guy running past you, the type of second level speed, third phase route concepts that Alabama's going to turn, I guarantee you they're drilling your safeties in his brain. Do not bite on the play action unless you see the ball handed off. I guarantee you that's a motive of conversation is this week prepping for Alabama with Wisconsin's defense. So I'm excited for the matchup, honestly. The Wisconsin secondary, their second level, not just secondary, but the second level, meaning the inside linebackers and the secondary, versus this Alabama passing game, not just the run game, but the passing game. We've seen Ty Simpson so far this season. I think he's at a 70% clip right now. for completion percentage. The numbers right at 600 yards total passing. I think he has 5 total touchdowns, 6 total touchdowns coming into this game. So this is not by far the tip of, this is only the tip of the iceberg of what we've been able to see from this offense. And you got a aggressive defense in Wisconsin coming in. This is going to be a crazy good matchup to watch unfold. Final thoughts going into this. I know we don't have a lot of time tonight in channel. I hope y'all not feeling rushed. But my guy, Raj, I want you to go ahead and give me your thoughts on this game. Both sides of the ball, kind of like a synopsis of how you see this game playing out and how this affects Wisconsin going for a win, lose, whatever, however the outcome is, what you expect it to be and how it affects Wisconsin going forward throughout. Because after this week, you all start your conference schedule also, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be, it's really interesting because right now our starting quarterback went down in week 1 for the 3rd straight year. We lose our starting quarterback early in the season. So that was Billy Edwards from Maryland. So backup quarterback Danny O'Neill, good couple of games so far. That's been really nice. And he's been a really pleasant surprise for us. So I do expect him to play pretty well. I expect we're going to struggle, like I mentioned, offensively because of the line. I hope we're going to try to run the ball for sure, set up play action potentially. We've got really good weapons on the outside. We started with a new offensive coordinator this year, Jeff Grimes, came in from Kansas. So he kind of took Wisconsin back to their identity, that power run game, but even with a modern twist. You're going to see a lot of misdirections. You're going to see some jet sweeps from Trech Kahuna, wide receiver, Vinny Anthony. There's definitely going to be some creativity out there offensively to try to find ways to score against Alabama. Not going to be an easy thing. The real matchup for me to watch, though, is defensively. Can we stop Ty Simpson? If Ryan Williams plays, can we stop him? Can we stop the Alabama running game? At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be a very great day for us. Like I said, we have some injuries. For me, it's important I'd rather rest those guys. Honestly, I hate to say conceding the loss, but Alabama's a better team than us. We're not going to beat Alabama. So I'd rather those guys get healthy for Maryland, which is next week. And then we've got a bye week. Then we go to Michigan. So it's going to be a very, very tough schedule beyond this. I do think the defense surprises Alabama a little bit. So my final score prediction is 31-13. I think that we cover the 20.5 point spread, but it's going to be hopefully what I always say is I would love it to be a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter, right? So we can put a little bit of pressure on Alabama. Look, the one thing is Alabama's got all the pressure in this game, right? There's no pressure on Wisconsin. After that Florida State performance, there's no doubt that all eyes are on Kalen DeBoer and all eyes are on Alabama. They have to perform well. We are expected not to win. So we can play a little bit loose. If we can keep it close, maybe there's a chance. But ultimately, I think we lose 31-13.
Okay. I like your analysis because I said the same thing. And I know a lot of people outside of Bama fan base and even in the Bama fan base, they want to give Ryan Williams this title of like the guy. And I understand excitement surrounding him. You see him make some amazing plays. But I'm a realist at this, especially for my wide receivers. And you may be surprised that I'm saying this live. But if you rock with my content, if you follow me, if you look at a lot of my takes, Ryan Williams is not the guy for me. I truly think because of what everybody else does around him, what Jalen Miro did last year around him, what Jam Miller did in certain spots of the game, in the passing game and in the run game, and then also Jeremy Bernard, who is the most consistent receiver over his time since being at Alabama, what he has done, I think that's what's created opportunities for Ryan Williams. And this year, when he's needed to be the guy, we've talked about this, he hasn't been coming through. And yes, we're only 2 weeks in. He's going into his sophomore slump year or whatever you want to call it. But I think this game, even if Ryan Williams is available, I think your problem is not going to be Ryan Williams. I look at the mismatches or the matchups between some of your corners and our receiver core. And we have a gentleman in Latsier Brooks that schematically where he lines up at is where your weakness is, your nickel corner spot. When we send out the dime sets, is your coordinator going to leave the base formation personnel out there and force your linebacker to get out and cover one of our slots? And if that's the case, I like our tight end matchup against your linebackers, and I definitely love our slot receiver matchups. You bring that 4th or 5th DB onto the field, what does that really look like for your defense? Does it get you out your wheelhouse? Do you have your secondary guys that run fit patch? Because once you get out past your first group guys, your 1A and 1B guys for those corner spots in that safety position, I think you're basically with red shirt and true freshmen, right? for the most part in your secondary as depth. So in a game like this where you're dealing with an experienced offensive line, you're going to need that impact pressure from your front. How aggressive they can go throughout 4 quarters, that's going to be a test. And with this Alabama offensive line starting to showcase that we have some depth, some rotational depth to where if this first group isn't working, we'll move 1 or 2 guys and see how this group rolls. That's going to be a problem for Wisconsin if they get into that situation. My final score going into this game, I said it the other day, I just feel like you, I don't feel like we dropped 50 this game. I don't feel like it's one of those type of games. But I do feel like this team, at the pace that we're performing at and the space that we're operating from, this is another one of those 48-9, 48-3, like defense shows up and shows out. Too many questions on your offense for me to really solidify. And like you said, is this a game where they really want to buy into a game plan and risk more injuries, knowing that you got a conference schedule coming up, knowing that you have a chance to get your quarterback back later in the season, knowing that you might have your center back this game? Do you really roll him out there? Not sure if he's 100%. So if those factors factor out to play for the future, this is a matchup that is favorable for Alabama in my eyes. So I go with a score of 42-9, 42-9 Alabama. Not giving up any touchdowns for the second week in a row. What about you, Jackson? Give me your thoughts.
I've got Alabama winning 38-17. You know, beat the spread by half a point.
Oh, wow.
So it's just like it's going to be featured on Scott Van Pelt's bad beats for sure.
For so bad.
I feel like this game will be for some reason. So it's going to be funny.
Honestly, I don't think this a loss where this Wisconsin offense, if they showcase they could move the ball and this Alabama continues to be a solid red zone defense, dating all the way back to the last season, it was never the red zone defense for Alabama that struggled. It was just their open field tackling that let the big plays would get the defense. You didn't see them have a lot of opportunities in the red zone against them because everything was being scored outside the 40 for Alabama last year. But this is not a big play offense. I think Wisconsin is going to try to test them on the perimeter a couple times vertically, but that's not their bread and butter. We will see a physical game, which if Alabama shows up physical, this is going to get away from them. Raj, final thoughts, man, before we get off of this live here, man. Is like I said, I wish we can do a post-game show or something together. I feel like you got a lot more to say, my guy. But final thoughts on this game going into it. And then also let everybody know where they could follow you and support your content. I like the way you deliver your content. I like what you've been able to deliver here on the platform. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. But final thoughts, and then let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Yeah, first of all, final thought is you put a question up from Big Homie about who the center, will the center start to be playing this game? So Jake Renfro is our starting center. It's questionable right now. I've heard some things that says he might try to go play a little bit. I've heard that they're going to keep him out because of the next week's slate. So we'll see. That's TBD right now, but that would be a huge lift for us if we can find a way to get him to play. But yeah, I mean, final thoughts. First of all, thanks for having me on the show. Really appreciate it. It's going to be, it's a game that we knew was coming, at the beginning of the season. We've seen it for a couple of years, and obviously losing our starting quarterback in the first week and then losing our starting center and losing our left tackle in spring just makes this game a lot harder than it needs to be. Alabama's a great team. We know that. What I want to see is us compete, hopefully, try to keep it close to our defense. That's the thing, the side of the ball we're really going to be watching. Can we do that? But hopefully it's a good game, and hopefully we don't get any more injuries when the Big Ten season starts. We can be ready to go. But yeah, like you can find me on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, the Bucky Report. Also, Locked On Badgers is where we do all of our post-game reaction stuff, because I'm a regular contributor on there. My co-host Ryan Herrings, he hosts that show. I just jump on there quite often, and then I host the Bucky Report with my good buddy Justin Julka. So yeah, check us out there, and thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
For sure, man. And as always, man, I love when we have matchups like this, only because I'm one in the fan base and one that covers the team that a lot of people think I'm always making excuses for the coaching and trying to make Bama seem like there's no issues. I'm just a realist when it comes to it, and I love to talk with other realists who cover other teams, and I think we all can bounce those feelings off of each other. Like, as much as of a fan as I am, I have to look at my team for what it is, and I can't be one to come into this game and say that this will be another shutout. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was. This team is lit. There's been a fire lit under this Alabama roster, And I think, like you said, with all the injuries and the turmoil that Wisconsin is going through right now, contrary to popular belief, that's usually the perfect setup for an upset. The very time you expect a team to be down at its worst, you have a lot of players on the field that have nothing to lose. And in this NIL portal era, a good game against Bama, where you take Bama to the fourth quarter and you lose by 6 or you lose by 3 on a last-minute drive, that Wisconsin team might be depleted in the portal after the season because of the type of numbers and the things that players showcase. That probably won't be starting after this game once you get a healthier roster. So we can see a bunch of relentless play from Wisconsin, and this thing could turn all of our predictions upside down. So that's why I love this aspect of it. And to get it on wax, man, like my pops used to say, get it on wax, let you know it's real. That way, when it's time to go back and replay it, can't nobody lie about what they said or what they thought. Everybody got to be accountable for what they said. So with that being said, I appreciate you again, Raj. Jackson, we on the way up out of here, man. Let the people know where they can find you, bro. And good job. Hey, if y'all didn't know, Jackson didn't speak as much tonight. We're working on him producing, being a point guard. Y'all saw me kind of directing the show tonight. I want y'all to continue to encourage my boy Jackson. He got that commentator voice. Jackson, let the people know where they could find you at outside of Alabama at the Voice of College Football, brother.
Well, of course, they can find me on Jackson Johnson 979, where I've got an upcoming episode with Mountaineer Paul, where we're going to be talking a lot about the West Virginia Mountaineers. And also, I've got another episode that I'll be filming with Sonny Verma from Locked On Illini, where we will be discussing quite a lot about the Illinois Fighting Illini, the Chicago Bears, and much more. And the other adventures that Sonny has. Where are they? Tune in to find out. And, of course, I've got my Pits Analysis Final Whistle shows with Sports Talk with Austin, including tomorrow night for Week 3, where we'll be going over our takes on all of college football for Week 3. It's a sloppy slate, but that means one thing. Upsets are coming. And you can also find me on Jackson VOCFB on /Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908, where you can find my updates on Alabama The Voice College Football, the Jacksonian, and my weekly calls on the Feinbaum Show, where the weekends are full of surprises.
Hey, Raj, don't he got that infomercial type feel to him? No, he tell the truth, man. See, I told y'all thought I was just playing. He really got that infomercial commentator, voice of Alabama type feel. Like Jackson might not necessarily be a play-by-play commentator, but I think he could be the guy that kind of. And up next, like that guy. So shout out to you, my boy. And
I watched a lot of promos from like some of the old shows. So it's paid off. So
I see you, man. Look, I appreciate your efforts, man. It just shows your passion and dedication to make this thing a success. And I'm glad to be a part of this team. But as you all know, y'all can find me at Coach Smook on our platforms. We're really growing over there on the Coach Smook Network, but we're also growing here at the Alabama Voice of College Football. And I'll be collabing with a lot of content creators that are covering college sports, NFL. We got some NBA coverage that we'll be doing this season, starting at the end of October, going into November. We got a lot of things. High school, Friday Night Lights. We start not this Friday, but next Friday, we'll start making our appearances and showcasing some of the talent around the state of Alabama, Georgia. And we might be able to make it out to Arizona before high school football ends in Arizona. Looking for God to do something amazing as far as providing that coverage and that type of content for you. Also, continue to support at Coach Smook on all platforms. We are doing a great work. As you all continue to support, we'll continue to push out the content, man. And once again, y'all, thank y'all for tapping in tonight. This has been another fun time on the Alabama at the Voice of College Football. We've been really strict on trying to get tight on our delivery. So thank y'all for supporting, coming in, share your comments. Don't forget to run the likes up when you come in. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on all of your notifications on all platforms. Continue to support our brother Raj. Continue to support Jackson and myself as we continue to bring you all this quality coverage from behind our cameras, man, and on the scene, on the ground, however we're doing it. Just make sure y'all continue to support some quality content. If there's nothing else, y'all, Jackson, we got anything else before I end this thing?
All I got to say is let's get the 3,000 subs before September 30th on Alabama with the Voice College Football. And let's help our good buddy Rajiv get to 2,000 subs on the Bucky Report.
Oh, yeah. Let's get it. Make sure y'all go subscribe, man. And I know we don't interact with a lot of Wisconsin throughout the season. We don't really talk trash to Wisconsin. Those are some nice people. We were talking with Ryan yesterday before we get out of here. We were talking with Ryan yesterday, and I do remember the interactions amongst the fan bases, the reports. from when our fans went up to Wisconsin last year. It's Madison, right?
Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and everybody was talking about how nice the weather was, how they have a real fall. There's no humidity. You know, the air was real nice and crisp. You could actually breathe when you woke up and walked outside to walk into the stadium. So I know our fans from the South appreciated that Midwest, that northern type climate. So I wish you could have came down to the South so you could have got some of this humidity and some of this barbecue, man. We keep some of that.
I'm happy. I'm happy not being down there.
See, when we beat up on kids, we don't pick at them afterwards. It's a business thing. Once that whistle blow all the way into that clock hits 0, we got to do what we got to do. That's part of the business. But after that, we take you right down the street to Buffalo Fields or what's the other bar down there on the strip, man? What's a couple of them down there? We'll take you down there, get you a couple of drinks, get you some food in your body, Make sure you get back to Wisconsin all nice and healthy and loved on. So we appreciate you for coming on again, Raj. And once again, everybody in the chat, thank y'all for supporting. And without further ado, we'll catch y'all on the next one. Roll Tide and
on Wisconsin.
There you go. We show y'all some love too, Raj. On Wisconsin and Roll Tide, man.
I should remember it because that's what Ryan Herring said.
Yeah, he literally said it yesterday. I thought Raj was gonna hit us with. I was gonna give, because they gonna. I don't know if they're gonna be on Wisconsin after Saturday, so we gonna.
Well, that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to each of the channels so you never miss no video whatsoever. And we'll see you soon. And roll tide, roll.
Roll Tide, everybody. Y'all have a blessed one.
And on Wisconsin.